So unless you've been living under a rock these last few days, you've probably heard about the Maximum Carnage tournament, which was so cool even I got to play in it. It consisted of 64 creators going head to head in groups of 8 for a split of $2,000. With so many players with different backgrounds from ex-pros to casual fun lovers, I just had to turn on my analyst mode and find out what made these teams tick. The first match kicked off with Teams Zarky and Santorini participating. In both this and the next game, the theme was the same: don't let your opponents move. Zarky was more aggressive from the get-go, holding more of the map for themselves and putting Santorini on the defense. Santorini in response groups up, keeping more players to an angle as backup and focusing on the right side where there are less angles to combat and potentially lose. This doesn't work for Zarky, however, so they switch sides, putting more players onto the left to pull more of the Santorini team members over there where it's harder for them. This way they were able to hold far better angles than on the right side, and the kill gap got larger accordingly. The strategy was much the same in Game 2, where Team Rozhok went up against Lipovka, with Lipovka immediately creating a strong line around Rozhok's spawn area that they couldn't cross. Lipovka had a much more even and coordinated spread across the map, each able to back up their teammate. Around the halfway mark, the game was still fairly close, and with a little regrouping and change of strategy, Rozhok could have won this. As it was, while the gun skill wasn't lacking, the group was too dispersed to really make a serious dent in Lipovka's line. It really started popping off in the best-of-3 final, which saw Zarky and Milta going head-to-head. Zarky went for the same style of play that had worked so well for them up till now, creating a line in the sand, holding angles, and backing up their best CQC players, which allowed them to run around freely. However, Milta had their own strategy. This team had the best communication we've seen so far, and they used it to put up a very strong line of defense, with 2 or 3 to an angle across the map. This crippled Zarky's CQC squad, stopping them from roaming around the map picking up kills. It forced Zarky to have to group up more and not push so aggressively. In Game 2, Zarky were a lot more controlled and led the score in the beginning, however they still allowed Milta to set up their line again. Zarky did try to break through, but while the pushes were better, they still weren't strong enough to break the line, and Milta won 2 out of 3 for the Winners' Cup. A big thank you to PowerBang and AMG for putting this event together for creators and the community as a whole. It was such a fun experience whether you were participating or not. The weekend was one big party of people who loved the game and each other. Even as a viewer, I felt really included, and so I wanted to contribute even in this small way to the experience. Thank you!